Hi folks, we're Tacitus today. Tacitus today, your pushback channel. Thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about, this is an interesting phenomenon. I don't know, I haven't seen another video about it, so maybe I'm kicking off a debate or something here, but I noticed I was in taking public transport at a train station, and I had to change trains, and so I had to walk through this quite large train station. And it's in an area that's got a lot of non-white people, Indians, mostly Chinese, I guess, but Indians as well, and a few other things thrown in there. But white people, whereas 25 years ago it was about 100% white, now it's probably 5% white, if that. So it's become an immigrant enclave. Now, when I first noticed in that area, Asians and Indians arriving. Not so much the Communist Party generals or the Indian Brahmins that used to swagger around, like they owned the fucking place, but people coming from, say, Hong Kong and the like. But you could tell the recent migrant kids, they were sort of lost and bewildered and sort of wandering around with that complete sort of look of trepidation and uncertainty and bewilderment as they wandered around in a strange land and in strange customs, strange habits, strange people, strange everything. And you could see that lost, bewildered look. Anyway, that was something I particularly remember. I don't know why I remembered it, but I did. Maybe because I'm someone who did and was doing so much international travel and going to different places. There are times when I wandered around a little bewildered. You're the only white guy in the hotel or the restaurant or the office. You tend to sort of be, maybe have a heightened sensitivity, I guess. But anyway, that was something I remembered from those days, and this is again over 20 years ago. And just as mass migration, just at the very beginning, as it's just starting. Now, I was going through that same train station just a few days ago, and then I had to walk between platforms, which was a bit of a hike actually. But I noticed that there was hardly any white kids, and the white kids I did see, they were the ones now. They were the ones looking lost and alone and bewildered, and they were the outsiders. They were the shunned nobodies. I mean, in fact, it was worse than like the people coming in 25 years. They were the new arrivals in a new land. These white kids, this is where they were born, and their parents were born, and their grandparents were born, and so they're now strangers and lost, and the shunned outsider in their own fucking country. That's how much it's changed. And the brown and the black kids, the Asian kids, they're walking around confidently, swaggering, heads held high. It's the white kids that are heads bent and staring at the ground, almost begging forgiveness for existing. What a difference. What a total fucking difference. What an accomplishment. What a social achievement. I mean, wow. The globalists have to be proud of what they've achieved. So now there's a few other things I've noticed as well. In an area that's not too far away from where we live, there's been quite a few islanders have come in to the area. Tongan Island, Pacific Islanders, that sort of thing, Maoris and the like, and Samoans and so on. Now, these island cultures are very different. It's not surprising to see a 14-year-old boy who's a father and a 13-year-old girl who's just conceived and procreated, and so by the age of 30, these people are grandparents. And that's sort of a bit unusual, I guess. But in their own cultures, as soon as a girl menstruates, then she's available for procreation. And boys copulating with 13, 14-year-old boys copulating is considered to be also not unusual. The children tend to be looked after in the islands, tend to be looked after by the tribes, so it's not a direct parent responsibility type thing. But when they come to a first world country or another country like Australia, then it's very different. So it's not unusual here to see 14-year-old schoolboys who are the government's trying to program them to say, well, you have to pay child support. You have to look, this sort of thing. And like, what are you talking about? So they come from a very different culture in that respect. And they also form gangs. They're very prone to, particularly in the West, and when they come, they wouldn't do it in that same way in their island culture. But when they come here, and goodness knows why the government wants to bring them here, climate change, visas and all sorts of nonsense, but they come here to a first world, in this case Australia, a first world country, and they form gangs. But what I've noticed is that they actually have taken leadership positions in the gangs. So looking around, you see half a dozen 13-year-old boys, for example, and the leader is very clearly the Islander boy, who's typically bigger and stronger and so on than the others. And then you've got the white boys following on like little flunkies, like little acolytes or something. And so these are the gangs, and so you find and the young white, trashy, trampy white working class white girls, want to be with the leader of the pack, as it were. So the brown kid from the islands is getting the pick of the trampy, trashy working class chicks as well. So this is an interesting sort of development that the Islander boys, because they mature earlier, they're bigger earlier, they've sort of, they're gang leaders in, and I've noticed this now a few times and in a few occasions, and so, okay, that's interesting. And now I hadn't really thought about it previously, but it's an interesting sort of social development or sociological development, these Islander kids coming in. And, it's the Islander girls do sort of, or both of them seem to develop early. You look at some of them, they're 16 or 17, you'd swear they're 25. But that's another development. But what was more interesting to me was how the white kids in these areas where it's a lot of single motherhood and so on, in these areas, how the white kids so readily fall into line as being subservient to the brown Islander boys. That was probably the bigger surprise to me. But this is something that could be examined as a new development in society, and I wonder where it's going to go. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.